All right, folks, from discussing a fun new short course in the Brainerd Lakes area to talking about an in-process, reaching the home stretch, bold new Brainerd vision, segue over to Cragun's Resort and the Cragun's Legacy courses and the big renovation and expansion project that's going on there. To discuss as much, welcome Eric Peterson, General Manager at Cragun's, to the Spicer Speaking podcast. Not only took time to tour me around the golf grounds, but also my host for the week. Thank you for that, Eric. Thank you for joining me, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Judd. It's exciting to always share what we got going on in the Brainerd Lakes area.
It was exciting, to be sure, as I told you, for both my Avid Golfer magazine assignment and my golf course industry assignment. Going over the notes, going over the transcription. For those that are going to take a peek at the YouTube version of this chat, here's the map that Eric gave me, and it both in person, in real time, and then in review, it is a labyrinth what you guys have going on, what you have had going on, and what you will soon complete spring into summer next year. Broad overview for you, Eric. For those unawares or interested in hearing a little bit more, let's talk about the renovation and expansion project and what you guys are going to have at the completion.
Absolutely. Well, you know, the Cragun's Resort is an amazing property with a tremendous history, you know, dating back to the early 1940s. Really started as a small resort, but has expanded the resort into a tremendous resort on Gull Lake, almost a mile of shoreline. And our owner, Dutch Cragun, back in 1996, 97, decided to get in the golf business. That's when golf in Brainerd started to boom. He built a tremendous facility over the next, 4 to 5 years. So we had a 36-hole golf course, championship caliber golf course, designed by Robert Trent Jones Jr., as well as a par 3 golf course too. So we had a great facility, operated here for the past 20 plus years, and had an opportunity about 2 years ago. We'd always, our owner always liked expansion, wanted to grow, wanted to make things bigger. So we had some additional land adjacent to our golf course. We met Tom Lehman, obviously a local legend here in Minnesota. Sure. Probably the greatest golfer coming out of Minnesota. And he has been in the design business. He's still actively playing on the Champions Tour, but he's gotten in the design business as well. And so we started talking to him. It would have been about, I think it was just over 2 years ago right now, today, right at the beginning of August here. And within about a month and a half, he had put together a master plan to expand our facility from 36 holes of championship golf to 45 holes of golf. And then with that, basically a complete renovation of the existing holes. So when it's all said and done, we're going to end up with a 18-hole course. We're going to call it the Lehman 18, named after Tom himself. That course is made up of about 5 or 6 existing holes that were renovated and about 13 brand new holes to make that 18-hole combination. And really exciting, that's scheduled to open here in about a month. We're going to open on September 1st for some initial play this fall. So we'll have that 18-hole course open, and then we are doing the heavy renovation on the other 27 holes of existing golf that we have, and of which we have 9 of those holes open, completely renovated, 9 more that actually just completed seeding yesterday. And is growing in, again, complete renovation of those holes. And then we'll have 9 holes left. So it's all of that's gotten done in basically a 2-year time frame, from conception to permitting to starting construction in the spring or April of 2020 or 2021. So it was last year, April 2021. And now we've got to that point today. So with 36 holes renovated and growing in, and 9 more to be started next summer.
Eric, I don't know how you're keeping track of all this, because not just a logistical feat that you guys have managed and are managing in a very succinct time frame, but also a geographical one, I think might be the best word to use. Again, going through the transcription of you and I riding around in a cart for about an hour and showing me everything, looking at the map. I mean, it takes a lot of vision to do what you guys are doing. Yes, you are expanding to different parts of the property, but for some of the existing holes, the corridors are the same as you explained to me, but not only is it a total bunker removal and then reinstating project, but it is a rerouting. I mean, some of the holes that we were going through are basically reverse from what they once were. Is all that accurate? Did I at least get that right?
You hit it right on the head. We're again, I think we had such a beautiful piece of property, and again, original designer did a fantastic job, but had some more constraints on him with whether it be some of the dollars that we had available to spend at that time, and then also just looking at with the expansion and the renovation, it basically is a completely reimagined golf course. And like you say, the biggest change is you're getting much more generous landing areas for your tee shots. And then the greens and the landing area around the green, our greens in our complexes have expanded tremendously. I would say, increase that space by 50% on a majority of those green sites. So the green itself might have been a big green, but, rough right next to it and then thick woods. Well, we opened up and made everything much more playable, and also just created these runoff areas. You see a lot of these bent grass runoff areas around our greens. All of the bunkers, like I say, like you mentioned, that we removed all of our bunkers, and we had a lot of bunkers, and we put back the ones that made sense, and we put them back in different strategic locations. Our golf course was kind of known to be one of the more challenging golf courses. We had a lot of large bunkers visually off the tee, 160 yards on the right off a tee. Well, who's that going to affect, right? And that was Tom's theory. He goes, we want to make golf more enjoyable, right? In the 90s, all the architects were trying to make golf harder. That was the mentality. Golf is, technologies is coming. We want to make golf more difficult and visually tough and also play tough. Well, we've kind of changed that theory now. Or we want to make golf more inviting, more enjoyable, to all players and all abilities when they do come out and play the legacy courses.
As far as further utilization of the property, I mean, you guys all told this is not all playable golf property, but Cragun's encompasses, I think you told me, over 800 acres, maybe even more than that. And some of the layman holes that you took me out to, it's not what you think of when you've thought of Cragun's historically. And some of those spots, it's not necessarily what you think of when you imagine postcard lake laden North Country Brainerd golf. Some of those perches you took me to, it really blew me away with the elevation changes, with some of the perches and the vistas. It's a totally different look to your property for what these new holes are going to offer, Eric.
Yeah, and that was really unique part of the expansion, if you will. 9 of the holes are literally, much further away from the golf course. The layman course is actually an out and back 18. So you actually go out, continue on the whole golf course, and don't make your way back until 18. But what that allows you to do is allows you to get out to some very scenic land. Especially some of those new holes at 4, 5, 6, 7 corridor, as well as that 10 through 13 are just spectacular, unique golf holes that really, showcase something different.
Some unique design elements, to be sure. Kind of getting into the architectural layout in a little bit, a few things that jumped out to me. But as far as the course design, you and I did talk a lot about the bunkers and the look of the bunkers and the style and the construction of those that you've gone with. I'll let you handle the description of those, but it's something I'll definitely be including in at least one, if not both of my articles, something that really popped for me.
Yeah, part of the goal was really to make, we have this large property, like you mentioned, 850 acres or so, the whole project encompasses. And what we wanted to do, because we have 45 holes of golf, we want to make the golf courses different. So the 27-hole golf course has a different style bunker. They're a little bit more, they're grassed over. They have the fescue, so it's actually a fescue bluegrass mix. So now as they're maturing, we're getting that fescue look kind of popping up on the back of the bunkers, kind of get that contrast of colors with that yellow fescue kind of poking up behind the bunkers, grassed over, and lined bunkers. So really attractive bunkers. And then on the layman course, Tom really wanted to have a different style look and a different bunkering, really to change the feel of the golf course. So what we started with was more that flashed up look. So the bunkers have more of the Augusta, if you will, flashed up bunkers, big white look to them when you're standing back. And then what we've added is what we call a reveal. And it's a stacked sod look reveal. And it kind of goes on the back side as you're looking at the bunker. And it's basically taking stacked sod ranging anywhere from 6 inches up to about 2 feet on the face of each one of these bunkers. So it kind of has this little inconsistent look on that reveal. But when you get up to it, you see that, like you see white sand up, then that more traditional stacked sod look that you would see it over in England or Scotland, that type of thing. And so it's something completely unique, especially for the Midwest.
I can all but assure that whether it be my snowbird listeners that come to and fro from the desert back to Minnesota, or my old Minnesota pals or colleagues that I know listen to this program, when you get up and you see these bunkers, I can assure you it's going to grab your attention. It really stuck out to me. A couple other things that stuck out. One in particular was what Lehman has done with the green surrounds, and you referenced it. Not one particular look, not necessarily one particular style, but a lot of variety and a lot of playability, options for creativity around the greens as well. I think that's going to be a really fun element of his course, Eric.
Yeah, I think he took the green site where it was sitting, and he goes, well, how can we use the land around that green site and make it the best possible functional green site, both for maintenance, but also playability. So if it's up on a hill, he'll use that back hill and have that be all bent grass so it can bounce down on the green. If it, depending on where it's sitting up against a wetland, he'll make it look like that green is like, infinity edge, right?
Right.
Like if I go over that thing, it's done. And you might have a little bit of room, and on a few holes you may not. But again, using the land in the green site that was already there, that area, and then going, what is the best surround? Not all greens have bunkers around them, and I think there's 4 or 5 greens on our in our plans with 0 bunkers right now around them out of the 36 holes. So again, you don't have to have bunkers around greens, every green guarding every green, so it can be different.
Got one more question on Tom Lehman for you, Eric. Let me first reset. Friends, you're tuning into episode 60 of the Spicer Speaking podcast. Eric Peterson, he's the general manager at Cragun's Resort. You can find them, get your tee times, book your stay online at Craguns, CRAGUNS.com. Never had the opportunity to interview Tom Lehman in the past, but I do distinctly remember, Eric, at the 2016 Ryder Cup when he was one of the vice captains. Of course, that was a Great American Victory, took place at Hazeltine. And the press conference after was a very special moment. Personally speaking, just seeing all those players and then the captains and vice captains sitting together, basically American golf royalty that was present at that press conference. And I just try to soak it in for a second and look at just all this greatness, all this history of golf. Eventually a question came around to Tom Lehman, and I thought it was something that it's just kind of a typical question. Obviously, it's in Minnesota. He's from Minnesota. Someone kind of asked that obvious question: what's it like to win the Ryder Cup on your home turf? And Lehman had to pause. He was so emotional about that moment that I'm not going to say that he was weeping, but it definitely had a very visceral, emotional impact when he tried to voice what it meant to him. Which is to say that I can only imagine that the work that he's done, you told me he's been present on site amply. he's not just doling out the responsibilities, that he's been there himself doing this work, that it's got to have a real personal impact on him to ensure this is of the highest quality.
Yeah, there's no question. He has embraced this project. It's one of those things that this is probably, again, he's done a few great projects in Minnesota. He was involved with the TPC Twin Cities renovation. He's done a couple other great golf courses in Minnesota as well. But this one, just really hit home for him, being in a resort destination area, and then just the pure scope of this project, right? When he's done, he's going to have his fingerprints on basically 45 holes of amazing golf in basically the destination area of Minnesota here in the Brainerd Lakes area. So, and again, he shared the vision. I mean, he wants to the end product, just like we are, our focus. We want it to be the premier golf complex and golf facility in the state of Minnesota that people could come visit.
I trust that later this month, you'll be seeing Tom Lehman again. Tell me if I'm wrong. For the first time ever, as mentioned earlier in this program, PGA Tour Canada is going to step across the border onto U.S. soil for the CRMC Championship presented by Gertens, taking place at Cragun's August 25th to the 28th. Tom Lehman is your honorary chairman for that event. You've had this on the books for a while, man. TikTok to
Yes.
balls in the air for PGA Tour Canada at Cragun's. We all ready to go?
It is. It's the most anticipated PGA Tour event, or for sure PGA Tour Canada event ever. We plan to roll it out in 2020. So we basically, in November of 2020, or 2019, we planned it. And through certainly some challenges over the last couple of years, not to need to mention that, we are actually we're, like you say, we're 19 days away from kicking off tournament week. So the Cuyuna Regional Medical Center in local up here in the Brainerd Lakes area, they're our title sponsor in putting on this event. And Tom, since 2019 or 2020, has been our honorary chairperson of the event, and he's staying on. And obviously that was even before we had planned the renovation. So, I mean, it's just how this all came together. That was pre-planning renovation. We met Tom again. So through our original tournament organizer, he had a relationship with Tom, got him on board for the tournament. Tom came up in the summer of 20, summer of 20, he came up with his youngest son playing in a match play tournament up here. And that's when Dutch, Cragun, and myself, we met him. And that's kind of how it all kicked off. So he's continuing as that honorary chairman. His oldest son, Thomas, is actually going to be playing in the tournament, in the PGA Tour Canada event that week as well. So he's going to be serving double duty. He'll be serving as our honorary chairperson, but more importantly, he'll be acting as father of one of the players, trying to kind of make his way out and follow in his dad's footsteps.
We discussed the holes that are being finished up. We discussed the holes that are open. What combination of holes will the PGA Tour Canada participants be playing exactly at the CRMC Championship?
Yeah, so pretty unique right now that, because of the transition and where we're at. And thankfully, the delay actually helped the tournament. So we're actually, stick with me here, Judd. You ready?
I think.
All right, hole one, they're going to play 1, 2, 3 laymen. Then we're going to shuttle them, and they're going to play 9 laymen. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 of the layman course. That is your front 9 for the CRMC Championship. And then your back 9 actually starts right in front of the clubhouse. It's actually what we're labeling currently as our white 9. And that is a full combination of 9 holes that will be part of the Dutch 27-hole course when the whole thing is completed. And we're just playing 1 through 9, with the 9th hole ending up right in front of the clubhouse. Completely all remodeled golf holes. Number 9 is just spectacular. We added a new pond. It just looks amazing from the clubhouse.
Okay. Unbelievable. I don't know how you keep all this in your head. If the event is planned or will return for next year, should be all done. You have the Dutch 27, the red, white, and blue 9s. The layman 18 will be completed. Will you then just have the tour play strictly on the Lehman 18? Is that the game plan?
Actually, we
Oh.
feel our main tournament golf course that we have is going to be the blue to white combination
Okay.
course.
Okay.
Everything's a little bit close to the clubhouse, allows for split tee starts, kind of everything that flows with running an event in a tournament. It, basically starts at the clubhouse, ninth hole ends there, as well as the 10th and the 18th are right in front of the clubhouse for a VIP deck and all of that type of thing. So we'll actually be able to keep the Lehman 18 open to the public,
Okay.
during that week. But our tournament course, our plan going forward will be the blue to white combination.
Got to mention it to you, Eric. I know you can't be biased. You can't have a rooting section. We do have a dog in this fight. Samuel Saunders. I hope and trust he is playing at the CRMC championship. He is the brother, a friend of the show and recent guest, Steve Saunders, who is the head golf pro at the Temecula Creek Inn. I know you can't root for anybody, but let's hope Samuel Saunders, not to be confused with Arnold Palmer's grandson, Sam Saunders.
Yeah.
Let's just hope he has a strong showing in Brainerd. Let me ask you lastly, Eric, per strong showings, what do you anticipate? I mean, is there a number that you have in mind, given that this is breaking the maiden, given that you have come up with an interesting logistical routing of the hole is going to be played? Are you thinking 8 under, 12 under, 18 under?
These guys are amazing golfers, right? I mean, they have tremendous ability. It is going to stretch them a little bit compared to a majority of the PGA Tour Canada events. I think our tournament course is going to come in right around 7,100 or a little over 7,100 yards, par 70.
Ooh.
So again, that's going to be, so as relative to a par 72, you're looking at a 73, 7,400 yard golf course, relative to par. So we think, that'll allow them to play, but we think it's still going to be very playable. It's, again, there's a couple of shorter par 5s in there. I think our length comes from a couple of par 3s and some in just overall average length of our par 4s. So I think, I would be shocked if they aren't at least, 15, 16 under over the 4 days. I mean, these guys are just so tremendously good. We have built the golf course to be, friendly off the tee. The green sites are actually pretty generous and big. So again, I don't think they're going to get in a ton of trouble, even though, you think of Brainerd golf and cutting through the woods, that it's tight and it's going to feel really, really tight for them. I think the new golf course, there's going to be, there's 3 or 4 holes they got to keep there, definitely keep the score in mind and be careful on. But if they can navigate those 4 or 5 holes each round, and then there's plenty of scoreable holes out there too. So if you ask for a prediction, I'm going to throw 17 under out there.
Okay.
We'll see how they run after that.
It'll be pretty solid on a par 70. That is undoubtedly
that would be tremendous. Yep.
Well, I look forward to following that leaderboard on PGA Tour Canada. Again, it's the CRMC Championship presented by Gertens. That's coming to Cragun's just a few weeks away, a few weeks and change, August 25th to the 28th. First PGA Tour Canada event ever on American soil. In concert with that, my friend, I'll look forward to following the home stretch of the renovation and expansion project, just as I will send you the articles in both Avid Golfer and Golf Course Industry about Cragun's and the Brainerd Lake surrounds when those come out. Eric, appreciate the time, appreciate the hospitality. Great to stay at Cragun's again. I'm very impressed with what you guys got going. All the best with the tournament and finishing up the project, sir.
Well, thank you. And like I told you when I toured you around, I was hoping I was just kind of teasing you and get you back out here either late next summer or for sure in 2024 to come see the completed golf course project and really get to, again, you'll have to spend a couple of days just playing around just our golf holes, So
Getting me back up there, it's not going to be a hard sell.
Awesome. Well, good. Thank you for having me and helping spread the word of what we have going out up here.
All right, man. Thanks for the time.
Yep. Thank you.